I've decided to take a more serious tone when I work on my cases. And for those of you who do not know me, my name is Elijah Fisher. I use an AI generated Primarch from the Warhammer universe as my avatar. I have been on VRChat for now 6 years now, and I used to work with a team of people I called the Jaegers. I still have this team as I am trying to reform it, and the people that I have caused trepidations to, they still watch my channel, and I know exactly who they are, and I understand that all of you wish to see the better of me. But that is not the topic of this video. When I do predator cases, I decide to do this with a team of friends that I trust. I do not wish to be affiliated with anyone else on YouTube or on any social media platform. I do this not for money. I do this just for entertainment. I condemn every single predator that has done any sort of inappropriate interactions with any individual who is underage. I do not do this for any sort of wherewithal, and I do not do this for any sort of recompense. I do this simply to educate. I do this simply to warn. And I do this because I am over 30 years old, and I am quite frankly angry at how social media websites or social platforms do not properly moderate their platforms properly. And I'm sorry if I'm not speaking clearly. It is currently 2 in the morning, and I have woken up in order to do my cardio. So that's why I'm speaking like this. I simply do this as not a means to cause any more trepidations. I do not mean to be a provocateur or an agitator. I simply do this because I want to. My goal is not to agitate, to harass. My goal is to only find and expose the truth. The topic, or rather the target individual I will be talking about, is an individual who does have a document on him. However, I cannot show parts of this document as it contains very illicit material, a actual address being shown, and the real face of the individual. I will be only referring to the individual by his first name and first name only. I will also be referring to the individual by his in-game name or IGN. I cannot, in all good conscience, show these illicit images in fear of YouTube's moderation doing its proper job with giving me a warning or, God forbid, a strike on my channel. Because of this illicit material alone, I cannot, in all good conscience, share this document, as I feel as though it again falls under YouTube's guidelines of sharing such material. I will only be reporting what I see on this document. There are videos on this document, that I will be showing. I will have to censor some of it out in order to appease the YouTube guidelines. Please forgive my tone and please forgive my solemnness. This is quite literally not what I am known for anyone who has had any sort of interactions with me. I am only doing this to appear more mature and more calculated and calm. So without further ado, I present to you the TechnoRiddler files. TechnoRiddler, 22, also known as Jagger, is a 25-year-old man from Georgia. Jagger has many fascinations with internet culture, such as independent animations, Has-Been Hotel, The Amazing Digital Circus, and many more. His main fascination was the independent animation by the independent animator glitch known as Murder Drones. If you do not know what Murder Drones is, it is a sort of CGI show where post-apocalyptic people go around trying to find a better planet and the drones kill each other. It is a very odd, sort of campy, progressive show that most millennials and Generation Z individuals enjoy. I myself do not enjoy this style of content, but it has a cult following, to say the least. And normally when something has a cult following, such as Murder Drones or any piece of independent animation, there are going to be individuals who get so obsessed with these independent animations that they will fantasize about the characters, so much so that they will fantasize them doing some very provocative or very sensual positions. This, of course, is described as the internet rule, Rule 34. Anything that exists, there is porn of. And Jagger is no exception to this rule. He himself has been nothing but obsessed with murder drones pornography, so much so as to send it to. I would like to begin by reading off 4 testimonies by anonymous individuals. I do not know these individuals nor their ages, but they are, of course, suspected to be. Of course, I am going to be reading from the document, and I will provide a screenshot to each of these testimonies. The testimony from anonymous individual number 1 goes as thus. I became friends with him when I first started playing VRChat around March 2025, if I'm correct. I remember meeting him at a Fazclair nightclub, which, if you guys do not know, a Fazclair nightclub is a mature NSFW Freddy Fazbear alternate universe, or AU, where the characters are very suggestive in nature. Instance where we headed off. Every time we hung out, it's always been amongst other adult players with age checking at the entrance. Things have always been cool between us, and he was an odd fellow. A few weeks ago, there was a VC instance where there was supposedly a on the server, I think. I assume they kicked him out of the server for being so young, especially in a server full of older people. There is an NSFW channel to post on there, but only 18 plus users were able to access it. However, the chat section of the voice channels had no filter to keep from seeing the inappropriate content on the VC chat. As no surprise, NSFW content has been uploaded in that chat section of the VC channel. Now, like most young Generation Z to millennials, Jagger believed that he could grow a community. He had his own Discord channel, promptly called TechnoRiddler's Xbox server. This screenshot is a description of said server, which goes as follows. His server is mainly filled with adults, and as any reasonable person should, one must put the effort into making sure they keep out of this server or restrict access to certain content on the server. However, Techno fails horribly trying to do both. This, of course, would parallel with the anonymous testimony by anonymous user number 1. The first screenshot shows Jagger creating his age and date of birth tab in his server, and we can see 3 have come out of the woodwork admitting their age is under the age of 18. He also let in someone of the age of 22 into the server, as well as someone who was born in the year 1998. Doing some quick math with 2026 and 98, that equals 28, meaning he has let someone into the server where he is welcoming these. He has let someone who is almost 30 years old, my age, into the server. Here's another screenshot here showing a 4th that he has welcomed into the server. However, he has welcomed which this person is turning 18. However, like I keep saying, you really shouldn't push the goalpost like this, because if we're really going to say, oh, is still close enough, no, it's really not. You can't push the goalpost like this, and Jagger pushed the goalpost. Obviously. He even let more people into the server that were well above the age of 18. But I think the most damning screenshot I can show right now that doesn't show any illicit material is this one right here that is dated March 14th of 2026 this year. At 11:50 p.m., he welcomed an year-old. That's right. I said. He also, on March 19th of 2026, welcomed a year-old. There's a short description. In this server, there are a total of 7 underage individuals, 2 of whom are and years old, as shown in both of these birthday channels. This is extremely concerning, given the fact that there is an NSFW channel, technically was. It seems he deleted the channel after getting called out on his server, even though only users with the 18 plus role can access it. It didn't stop from viewing the material in the VRChat. And this only raises the question, why would Jagger, a 25-year-old man, welcome 2 of and it makes absolutely no sense. And I understand if you want to be an influencer or you want to create a community. However, you cannot, as someone who is well above the age of 18, or even if you're not above the age of 18, you can never put audience first above safety. I have said this before to past friends and current friends. You cannot put audience above safety, and that is exactly what Jagger did. He put audience above safety. There should have been a better moderation team in that Discord. There should have been better ways to keep those underage individuals out, but he did not do that. He kept the NSFW channels in, even though that those underage individuals could not see it. That did not stop them from accessing the VC channel, and that did not stop them from seeing the sort of text that these adults would say. The statement from the second anonymous individual says thusly, I don't remember where I met him, but when I met him, it was with my young friend Kale. Friend. He introduced me to him, and we somewhat got along. But what struck me when I spoke to him was how weird he acted. He somehow pushed some buttons that made me uncomfortable, and I distanced myself for the next few weeks. Meanwhile, he spoke to my young friend Kale without me there, which I already didn't like, as since I'm a friend of his mom, I was responsible for him. It is unclear what Kale's status is and how Kale ties into all of this. I can only hope that Kale is safe, and we wish him all the best. This is a longer post by anonymous user number 3, split into 2 parts, and it reads as follows. I met Techno in a public Frenny's instance. For a quick reminder, Frenny Fazclaire is the more mature, sensual side of FNAF instance where he helped me expose 2 people ERPing, or erotic role-playing, in a private room. Then I decided to add him because he seemed like a chill guy. I've been his friend ever since. I was there for him in all of his breakups. And then he started acting like a child, not knowing how to make his own decisions. I didn't want to be mean, so I didn't mention it. Then he asked me about murder drones. I didn't really know about murder drones, and he convinced me to watch the movie. It was really a movie and an animated series, but okay. I ended up loving the show. Then 1 year later, he got the idea to date me because I was the only, quote, true and real friend, end quote, he had. So I said yes. So this anonymous user is actually female. And he has been into me ever since. I made him a song. Then he got concerned about my real life, and I told him about it, including where my job was. He lied about my workplace being located in the city he lived in and said he wanted to visit me at my job. I said no, and he started going deeper, saying he wanted me to live with him. I said I was unsure about it and denied. That's when I got super concerned. Why does he want to see me so fast in person? We already showed each other our faces. He then sent me NSFW murder drone images and a pic. One day, Techno and I were hanging out at the Copper 9 world, which, if you guys don't know, there are 3 different versions of the Copper 9 world. Copper 9 is one of the planets in the murder drones fandom, and people kept talking shit about him being a I was confused and did not believe it. But then people started appearing in my DMs about it, leading me to get really concerned. Cypher and Cookie, both very anonymous individuals who I do not know, were having a conversation about it. And that's when I realized it was all true. I was so disappointed listening to them talk, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Then, when everyone left the call, it was Techno and me. And that's when I broke up with him then and there. Anonymous user number 3 did not appear to be underage. It is kind of weird how Jagger sent a to her, as well as tried to stalk her a little bit in order to lie about the town he was living in. I don't know why you would want to lie about the town that you were living in, even though I've said before, long distance relationships don't work and they never will work. But he became so clingy in order to want to see her so quickly. It really didn't make a lot of sense to me. This is just me chalking him up as to just being flat out weird, but overtly sexual as well. But I don't really know if anonymous user number 3 is underage. We're just gonna have to take that at face value. And finally, we have anonymous user number 4. His statement or her statement says thusly: from my experience with him, he was very funny and nice when we first met, but he seemed to be distant when we first got together, and he said he was around my age because I'm 19. It's only to assume that this is a female. We met when I was new to VRChat. I played once and forgot about my account. Then I got back on, and that's when we met. He was odd and never told me he was dating someone else until days into our relationship. And he was also freaky. I heard he was so I blocked him. I'm forever grateful I found out. One day, I was getting on VRChat, and by this time we were friends. So I joined him, and I was searching for him. And the next thing I know, I see him literally doing some crazy things to a player and showing the kid those weird stickers. In more detail, he was moaning while and the kid was saying stop, and he didn't listen. I then walked in and said, what the fuck is happening here? And the kid left. I told Techno off, and that's when I blocked him on everything. I cannot confirm nor deny anonymous user 4's eyewitness statement of him doing some very inappropriate things to an underage player. However, I do have an instance where he shows some very scandalous NSFW material to underage players, and we're going to get the context right here. The first video I will show is Jagger showing underage individuals very scandalous NSFW pictures of the Murder Drones characters. I apologize if I cannot show the full unedited clip for YouTube. I have to edit these clips out, so you will have to deal with my AI creations instead of seeing these very scantily clad and disgusting images of the Murder Drone characters. I understand everyone's problem with AI, but I need to edit these out.
Really?
Yeah, like Robo.
Are you talking about those murder drone
Yeah.
pictures?
I think Local
Yeah.
would like to see those.
I'm Batman.
Alright. There's Uzi.
Oh.
Alright, hold on,
I gotta do it.
Okay.
Creepers.
And there's
Oh.
Jay. There's Jay.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
Alright, hold on. There's V.
Oh.
Whoa.
I remember seeing that picture in the public and I reported it.
Really?
Yeah, it was breaking the rules. It was in public.
Okay. There is V.
Mhm.
And there is N and J.
Ah.
Whoa.
And JV and then N.
Oh.
And there's that one.
Oh.
A lot of these.
Creepers.
Well, I got some chill ones and those ones. You know, chill ones and those ones.
Uh-huh.
So half.
Evens it out, huh?
Yeah.
Again, I apologize if I'm not this big time editor to pixelate things or black things out. I just thought it would be kind of silly if you saw the shit I made with AI. But again, not defending AI whatsoever. But as you can see, that was Jagger's avatar and Jagger's voice. And he did show numerous pictures that were, as he put it, the H word, robot H word pictures. It's just very, very disheartening to see someone nearing my age showing these things to underage individuals. But it didn't really stop there, as we do remember the Discord server that he owned. He did post some very questionable pictures in that Discord server. And I will show those pictures, but as I've said, they are going to be highly edited, and I will actually black out those pictures instead. As you can see, he does have an NSFW server with a very questionable subcategory of murder drones corn pics. And as you can see, I have edited these images in a way for them to be properly censored with a black square. Going more into the Discord messages on Techno's slop server, we can see here a message by someone named Femboy Fexa, also known as Trey, to where he shows a very sexual image and a very provocative image of a Mobian, a Sonic fan character, Rouge the Bat. This image has been censored by me, of course, but only to show a part of the character herself. It's kind of weird how Femboy Fexa would post this when he is 17, and there is a reason why I'm not going to censor that age. I'm going to show you a video on how Femboy Fexa was confronted, because apparently Jagger wanted Femboy Fexa, as he was 17, to be a quote-unquote, and I'm not joking about this, stripper for Jagger's birthday.
I was a stripper.
Play some Corey Kenshin.
I was a stripper for Techno's birthday, yes, but
And
it
I
was
just want to
not.
ask, how old are you? Just checking
Your video has to
beforehand.
end first.
I'm myself, but
17.
Okay.
Kind of reinforces my point on most predators on how they want to move the goalpost, and that's exactly what Jagger did. He moved the goalpost by seeking out a homosexual man who was not even a man yet. He was still not a child, but an underage individual at 17 years old, asking him to be a virtual stripper for his 25th birthday. I don't understand why people will want to move the goalpost. And before any of you talk, I understand that each country has different age of consent laws. Yeah, but on the internet, the age of consent is 18. It's a general consensus that the age of consent is 18, and someone who is 25 years old, 24, turning 25, should not talk to a 17-year-old asking for that sort of favor. I'm going to be showing you another video, and I do have to trim it down. It is a 10-second clip, but I'm only going to have to show you a few seconds, because in this world, Jagger had invited 2 underage individuals into this world to where there are certain devices used in sensual acts. I have to be careful what I say here. And even though these are virtual items, he invited these 2 underage individuals, and he waved one of these virtual devices in front of an underage individual's face named Sneepy. And you will hear her just say sarcastically, "Yeah, that's very nice." I do not know who the recorder is, and I do not know who Sneepy is. I would think that neither of them want to be involved, but I just think this is rather bizarre on how he involves 2 underage individuals and bringing them to this world with these devices that are not real, but still try to tease and simulate that. It's very, very odd and bizarre, so just roll it.
Yeah, that's really nice.
And it gets even weirder from here, which Jagger was actually photographed with a male called Rookers. As you can see here, this is the screenshot that was taken. Here it is shown that Techno was on VRChat cuddling with a who goes by the name of Rookers. His age is literally shown in his bio. As you can see by the screenshot underneath Rookers' title, it says femboy. Why would a femboy be cuddling with a 25-year-old man? Now, of course, Jagger was confronted multiple times about these things, and his response is to try to detract from the conversation using racial slurs as if he was in a Call of Duty lobby.
Please unblock him, man. I'm really scared, dude.
I'm gonna call them two fucking. I'm gonna call them two.
Get done talking, he can re-block us.
Okay.
Or, well, he can re-block me.
When they're done talking to you, you can
Techno just
completely,
unblock them for
completely block
I'm gonna call them two fucking. I'm gonna call them two.
To even go as far as to threaten random people on VRChat with actual threats of violence.
I want to pull up to their house with a baseball bat or fucking gun and just fucking beat their fucking ass. And just beat their fucking ass.
Blue Devil is a friend of...
I want to pull up to Miles' house and Spyro's house with a baseball bat, with a fucking gun, beat him with a baseball bat, and also after I'm done with the baseball bat, fucking
And you know, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't add a predator threatening the old, I'm gonna hack your IP, I'm gonna track your IP.
I can have fucking somebody. I can have somebody either on Facebook or something. I can have somebody to freaking track all y'all's fucking IPs. Pull up to the fucking house. Also, also get some ropes and get a body bag. And also, rope, body bag, tell y'all, put a body bag, and also.
As you can see, when confronted with these allegations and with these facts and evidence, Jagger's main goal is to threaten and say derogatory terms. As of right now, I have tried to talk to Jagger with only left on red through Discord. I've tried adding him. I've sent him a few messages, but he has not gotten back to me. I will release DM conversations if he decides to add me back, and I will record a phone call between me and him or a VRChat confrontation between me and him. That will be held in my Piero tent, and I will be publishing that and televising that when the time comes. But right now, he cannot be talked to. He cannot be reasoned with. This is a severely agitated individual. 20 days ago, I actually did my research into Jagger's groups, and I managed to share the document to 20 of them. Of the 20, these are the groups that he has been banned from: Arx Veritas, High and Tide, 2 Murder Drones hangout groups, Super Earth Babes, the E-Tarded Bar, and the Reassembled. It's very disappointing and disheartening to me, as I have expanded my efforts trying to talk to 20 groups, and of the 20 groups, only 6 of them have banned him. Not even a full Blacklock. It just is so retarded to me how when someone has evidence against a predator, and when shown evidence, someone does absolutely nothing. And as you can see here, as I flash his remaining groups on your screen right now, he is to this day still in these groups, and some of these groups do allow people under the age in, and he is still 25 doing this. This is just still disgusting to me. So you guys know how this goes. As Primarch of the Jaegers, I Blacklock TechnoRiddler 20, also known as Jagger. And to the groups that you have seen and the groups that I have not mentioned, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourselves. I went into your servers, I gave you the document, and you still have not banned this absolute predator. Truly disappointing, truly disheartening, and truly disgusting. I can't even begin to imagine why you guys won't even look at a fucking document. But that's neither here nor there. I can't really get mad. I'm trying not to be explosive and be unprofessional with this. I've tried censoring myself, and I've tried being just a lot more kinder. And I know, like I said, the people who will watch this and who don't interact with me anymore take this as a kind of a turning stone for me. I'm not going to be like this angry guy anymore. I'm very serious about these sorts of things. And Jagger, I want to issue a challenge to you. I'm not going to give you a due date like I did with Siren Rose, but you know my Discord. I would like you to add me back, and I would love to have a conversation with you. It can either be through Discord or it could be through VRChat. Either way, I've added you on both. But if you want to keep running from me, that really does show your cowardice. But anyway, guys, not even hell deters the hunt. The bread is stale and the circus is boring. Thank you guys so much for watching. I don't do this for money or anything. I just do this because I want to. And new stuff will come out from the presidents and on my live channel. So, yeah, see you guys. Much love.